All right, so today let's talk about Will Smith, not the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, but the Los Angeles Dodgers all-star catcher who's really starting to come into his own and who, in my opinion, is a much better investment than JT Realmuto or Salvatore Perez if you're going to spend at the catcher position this season for 2022 fantasy baseball. Digging into the numbers now, last year Smith had basically a complete breakout season at the age of 26. He hit 258 with 25 home runs, 76 RBIs, 71 runs, and 3 steals. So any catcher that can give you plus 70 in runs and RBI, plus 20 in homers, and an average that's not in the gutter like most catchers is a very useful player. And that's what Smith was. Now at the age of 27, he is going to basically play every day now that the DH is going to be involved in the National League. They can give him the odd day at DH, maybe even try him out at first base if they're so inclined. But Smith is a real talented catcher. And the thing that I really like about Smith is not only the power, because he seems set to hit another 25 home runs, maybe even 30 with the additional at-bats this year. He had only 414 at-bats a year ago, so if he pushes up on 500, he can approach 30 homers. This is a guy who controls the strike zone. He had a double-digit walk-per-9 rate. I believe it was over 11% last year, and his BABIP was below 300, so it was even slightly in the bad luck range. Now, some of that has to do with having poor speed. If you have poor speed, you typically produce a BABIP that's under 300, so that's something that Smith is going to have to contend with in terms of his batting average. But I think Smith really represents a guy who, if you really do want to spend at the catcher position, I would take him over Realmuto and Perez because he will come slightly cheaper, maybe even a full round and a half or 2 rounds, at least in the case of Perez, cheaper in drafts. And again, he controls the strike zone. The strikeout rate is not horrible. And a double-digit walk-per-9 rate means that Smith's batting average is going to be a help to you. And I actually think he can go to the 265 range, maybe even 270 if his BABIP moves to 300 and he continues to take the walks like I think he would. So again, I will admit that even though I am against drafting catchers early, Smith is somebody I actually would be tempted by if he fell to like maybe the 8th round or 9th round, which is possible. Again, I don't like to pay for catchers, but Smith is an up-and-coming player whose best season might be on tap for this year. And I think he's somebody that will help you immensely at a position that's incredibly shallow. Yasmani Grandal, I think, is right behind him, which to me represents a drop in value once you get past Smith. So I think Perez, Realmuto, and Smith are the top 3 by a decent margin. And then it drops down a little bit to Grandal and the rest of the catching fraternity. So again, I like Smith a lot. So if you do want to spend a catcher, that's a guy I would spend it on instead of Realmuto or Perez.